Hi, my name is Kurt Tyler and I work for Keap. I want to talk to you today about this project my team and myself have been working on for the last couple of quarters in regards to native integrations. And by native integrations, I mean integrations that are built in-app, in-house, and not through a third-party system like Zapier. Now, to do this, we had to use this third-party system that I'm not going to name, um, but we basically had to have this system on the back end handle all of the users' authentication, their OAuth flow, their refresh tokens, all that stuff, and then essentially integration logic that would happen. So, for example, in HelloSign, this is one of the earlier ones we set up. Right, we have a couple forms, or sorry, templates that have already been connected. So, as a user, I connected my account, my HelloSign account, to this integration, and then I added these forms that were already tied to my account. I added them as part of this integration, and I'll show you that in a second. The point being that this HelloSign integration drives an easy automation. So if I go to the automations tab, you can see, okay, I will be able to set up a trigger on whenever a HelloSign document is signed. In this particular case, I'm saying whenever a new services agreement is signed. Then I'm going to wait 1 day and then send a follow-up email. Now, if for any chance that customer decides to purchase a product, maybe I'm going to stop this automation because I don't really want to spam them with a follow-up email because they've already followed up. Now, that's the power of these integrations, is just by setting up HelloSign and connecting your form, and connecting your account, and then inside this is some field maps, you're able to immediately get value with your customer out of this integration because you're driving your business through that user behavior. Now, what I'm really going to talk to you about is some of the learnings we had from this and applied to Typeform. Before I talk about what we did in Typeform, let's review what we did with HelloSign and some of the challenges there. So I said this third-party system we used to prototype. Well, because we were prototyping with them, we didn't immediately implement everything. And so this system gave us the ability to use an iframe into their systems, again, which really helped us to rapidly prototype and release HelloSign quicker because we didn't have to control a bunch of visual logic and CSS and whatnot for field maps and stuff like that. But it came with a cost. So let's just go into that and show you. So if I click into this integration, I want to add another HelloSign template to my integration. You can see it's slow. There's just some weird behavior. None of this matches Keap styling. I have like weird buttons here. Like, okay, do I click that? Do I not click that? Okay, what just happened? I don't really know. I know as a developer, but the average user who may not even be tech savvy can easily be confused by this. But we'll carry on. Click next. Kind of slow. Date pops up. What does that mean? I don't like that. Can I turn that off? Actually, I can't turn that off because we don't control this. This is an iframe given to us by this third-party system. But we'll continue. This might be better as a radio button, but because this system doesn't allow that, we're just going to do drop downs. We have some text we can control. Kind of text we can control up there. Really not much to help the user forward, right? If they get stuck here, there's not much we can do. Again, click next. It's going to take a while to load, but it'll get there. Another thing we fixed. I'm going to add an email field, contact. And this is the only field really I can map in this HelloSign custom field. Now, there's some validation that should be happening because a Keap contact record can only be created when an email field is created, is mapped over. You get users sometimes not doing that. And because we don't control this section of the process, there was no sort of validation that we could do to really prevent users from continuing. But anyway, I'm going to do that now. And there's some more field mapping. Let's just demonstrate the lack of validation. Right. Obviously, this probably should not go there. To make it really explicit, maybe it's like birthday, right? There's a very specific format for that. Custom field could be anything. But there's no validation. We continue, and then we have some other options. So again, it's a next at the very end, no submit or finish. So again, that could also be confusion. But then you see, here we go. We have hello sign there, and then, yep, it's out of the integration. So it all works well and good, but there's improvements. There's room for improvements. The setup flow was frankly atrocious, slow. Nothing we really could do to improve that. And so the last couple of quarters, my team and I took these learnings and then basically set up a new API, a backend API, to kind of surround this third party's API. And then we set up another front end. So now if I click connect, as you saw before, we went into the iframe. No longer are we doing that. We're going to open up an OAuth window. I'm going to hit accept on this. And then that OAuth window then submits, right? Some stuff is happening in the backend. And you can immediately see the difference already. This looks 10 times better. This is not an iframe. This is a completely new domain. If I had another website that wanted to also set up an integration, maybe it wasn't just Keap, but it's another site, we can share this sort of field mapping and don't have to duplicate this particular kind of thing all over the place. So we opted for like a shared front end in this case, which would really serve us well if we were to like also implement integrations with maybe Max Classic product line. It's in a completely different code base. So in this case, we're here. This is a form that you want to sync with Typeform. Remember, this Typeform integration. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to set up the morning demo form. Immediately, we easily tell people useful information. You can link them out to our help center. But everything here really makes it clear to the user. I'm going to click next. We know what they're selecting. Actually, I think I selected all fields instead. I'm going to go back. Morning demo. Couldn't do that before. Okay. I'm going to do now a couple field maps. First name. Also, as you can imagine, even better information now that we control this, being the user where they're at, telling them, hey, avoid duplicate contacts. You have to map an email field. So, right, if I try to continue, we're going to get a validation error because now we control this. We can block you from continuing your setup because you don't have an email. And if you don't have an email, Keap is not going to create the contact record, which then means your integration is pointless. Well, we prevented that from happening. Let's just go and add another field, last name. And then, right, save and finish actually makes sense in this case. Tells me all I need to know. Let's click that. Oh, there was an error. Didn't realize that. Let's just change that to email. Email. All right, and we're good to go. It continues. Now we redirect back to Keap, the integrations page. And we now see that Typeform has a form synced up to it that can then be driven by automation. I'm not going to go through that again, but the same concept still applies. Now, hopefully, what you notice is that everything is a lot snappier with Typeform because it's backing in an API. We cache things. This is going to that third party's API directly. We cache much quicker. We can go ahead and sync another form. All right, let's do all fields this time. We hide the forms that you've already synced. And for the sake of getting through this, we'll just map the email and be done with it. And again, much quicker redirect every time we do this. Things are cached. And it's just that much quicker. Now we can go in, we can remove. Let's say remove that. Now, what if I want to go edit this? Well, let me click on all fields. I'm going to go through and then see it entered. It recognized it recognized the edits that I made earlier. Let's just map over first name. Map over last name. Another thing that's cool is that we can actually check what you've already mapped and it's not constantly show it in the dropdown. Another one of those things we couldn't do using the iframe. save and finish. We've now updated that particular integration, well, configuration on the Typeform integration. If I click back into it, you will see that that has been updated successfully. So let's exit. Let's go ahead and then just disconnect Typeform, remove this integration, and then that's it. Now that you saw that, if we go back into HelloSign, I'm sure you can then imagine the major difference, right? I'm trying to edit this form. It's slow. What's going on? Okay, it did. Now it'll still do the same thing. But really, the power is all that setup. We have a common front end. We have an API in front of this. We don't use an iframe. Everything was driven by this third party's API. We rely on nothing UI from this third party. Thank you so much for listening, and have a nice day. Goodbye.